everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean. This is In the Mix, episode number 55 of our Pentagon challenge. I felt a little bit like a magician when I was doing that, and I've been working absolute magic in France. We'll talk about that again in a moment. If you didn't go and check out yesterday's episode, please go and check that one out. We're going to try and bring you guys daily content, but please do me the favor of going back and keeping up to date with each episode because it does help the channel grow just as much as like the likes and the subscriptions and all that sort of stuff. Your watch time actually means a whole lot about how much other engagement we get within the FM community, so that would be very much appreciated. And you'll have the other bonus of knowing exactly where we're up to going into this episode, because we have jumped forward towards the end of a season. Of course, no Champions League. That kind of made the most sense for us to jump forward a little bit. But with that time warp, we're going to jump in. We're going to see how our Monaco squad's gone, what changes we've gone through, and then we're also going to go through a full off season and hopefully start next season as well. So let's jump straight in and see how we've gotten on. First and foremost, the big one, right up above the top of my head there, sitting pretty at the top of the division. Champions, 38 games played, 28 wins, 4 draws, 6 losses during the year. AS Monaco, we've broken the 25-year streak of Paris Saint-Germain. If we have a look at that, they hadn't lost a league title since 2016-2017 when Monaco was the last team to win it. But just on the back of an incredibly strong second half of the season, we've managed to kind of put it away pretty comfortably. 7 points clear of them in the end. They actually had a year where they dropped down as low as like 6th or 7th during different parts of the season. But then really this top 5 teams from Lille, Lyon, Marseille, PSG and ourselves have really kind of differentiated themselves from the rest of the group. And that gap of 11 points between 5th and 6th spot, that's actually been pretty consistent in the second half of the year. There's definitely like a tiered hierarchy to a lot of the teams in the division, which I've noticed as the season has worn on. If we look at our schedule, we actually didn't start the season super fantastically. We had a couple little rough periods right towards the start of the season where I thought, okay, maybe this is going to take a little bit longer than initially we perhaps thought. You guys did see our season opening victory against the Olympique Marseille, and in the end, we did close out the season against them as well. Just a little spell where we kind of lost to Lyon, lost to Nice, and lost to Saint Etienne in a succession of weeks as the Euro Cup competition kind of got underway. I'll keep calling it Euro Cup. It is the Europa League. That is the competition that we're in. Then a couple little blips on the radar over Christmas, but then once we got into January, we had a couple of reinforcements arrive, and we'll go through those transfers in a moment, and we smashed teams. We literally won every game from January all the way through to an extra time defeat against PSG. I've actually got to check because I can't see the colours that well. To an extra time defeat in the French Cup final. That is a phenomenal run of form. That's as good a run of form as I've had in Football Manager at any point throughout the course of the FM21 cycle. And to go through that amount of games in the second half of the season with 1 defeat and then 1 draw against Montpellier late on in the season when we'd already won the title, like that is absolutely ridiculous, to be completely honest. And in the end, like we kind of did it quite comfortably, which is another interesting element to it. There weren't as many games here where I felt I was having to like overly manage the team. It was just about maintaining fitness, really more than anything else. We had a couple of results here and there. We got kind of like late winners, like Skatelis here got an equaliser for us late on. There's a Tonico goal here in the 94th minute against Strasbourg. That was a good winner. But otherwise, like we were comfortably up at half time in the majority of these games. We just kind of swept teams aside, which is absolutely ridiculous. I did mention the transfers. We got a little bit more active in the market, particularly in January after that start. A few more players departed. Andrew Slate did depart just before the previous episode. Then Nabil Bramia left. We did a whole episode on a little preview with him. Last season, we got rid of Didier Medadi, who is a full French international, out of the squad. Igor Thompson, just really raising as much merit revenue as possible. So we brought in 231 million to the club, clearing out some of these players that potentially didn't fit the system or that I thought were older players earning too much money, to really open up some space for some wonder kids. And then I started to spend that. So we have spent 277. Keep in mind though, the majority of the transfer fees, the bigger ones that you're going to see here, they're like 3-year returns, if that makes sense. So it's like 10 million up front and then 20 million over the next 3 years or whatever else. The 2 big ones, or the 3 big ones I should say, Anselmo Zamora joined us from Porto, Spanish central defender / right back. I've been trying to get him to work into being natural in this right wing back position because his crossing and dribbling are quite good. But he's been a handy little pickup for us. That versatility off the bench to play the back 3 roles, very, very important. And we'll try and get him more into a starting role, I think, next season. But he joined for 40 million. And then Eric Xavier, we actually kind of broke the bank a little bit on because I think he can be quite special. If you have a look at him, still only 18 years of age, Portuguese that came through at the Sporting Academy. He was playing in their first team. He has been called up to the full Portuguese national side as well. And I really want to get him up to date in this box-to-box midfielder role. I think it's a tricky one to try and find young players that are developed in that position already, but he's got so many great traits already. 17 technique, 17 first touch, good heading ability as well. Dribbling and finishing need a bit of work for the role. But 16 decision making, 16 determination, 14 positioning and work rate, 12 teamwork, which is mental attributes are only going to improve over the next couple of seasons, and physically already incredibly gifted, 16 natural fitness and 18 stamina. I don't even need to take him off most games in what is a very, very high intensity role. So I kind of broke the bank with him a little bit. Here's, I think, a Monaco record, the highest they've paid for a player, which was still standing at James Rodriguez. So £80 million in total for him. And then the other one that we brought in, a familiar face. If we do win a Champions League title, he will be a player that we won the North American Champions League with, the Copa Libertadores, and potentially the UEFA Champions League if we can get him to that stage. Paid 69 million, which was just a happy coincidence, to be completely honest. Again, a little bit up front, more over the next 3 years as he plays. He's 24 now, so he's not going to hit that 5-star potential, but he is still quite a good kind of advanced forward and pressing forward option, and he can fill in left and right sides if we need him to, if we make any changes to that. So he's come in, and while his individual stats have still been good, but not like spectacular, 7.25 across all competitions, 29 goals from 52 appearances, 9 assists in that period. It's the person that he's partnered with, which has been absolutely immense for us. And that is the Brazilian wonder kid Valba, who has, if we have a look at his stats in a little bit more detail, 56 goals in 51 appearances, 13 assists and 7.60 average rating across all competitions. Absolutely ridiculous stuff from a 19-year-old player. So bringing Tonico in allowed him to play as the pressing forward and us to play Valba a little bit further forward as the advanced role. And he has just gone from strength to strength. His development this season has been absolutely ridiculous. And he seems pretty much in all categories perfectly suited to the role that we want him to use. I've just noted he's just turned 20, which is fine. I do think he's going to get to that kind of like 4.5 star level before he really starts to see a drop off in his potential ability. But just an amazing season for him, amongst the best players that we've had at any point throughout the course of this save. And if we have a look at the larger squad view, no surprise, Valbert and Tonico, the top two scorers, 56 and 29, but then good contributions from around the squad as well. Shirkow, who we've managed to keep a hold of for the moment and has a contract for another few years. He does still want to leave. Teams are still in for him. But he's contributed 19 goals on his own, which is a pretty fantastic effort. Good goals from Skatelis, a few goals from Traore, a youngster who we've got out on loan at the moment. Van Hout's chipped in, Baha has chipped in, Maidana, even from centre back, has chipped in with a couple of goals. So we've got a really good spread. I think we've got about 22 individual goal scorers throughout the course of the season, which is super important, even if Valber is effectively like scoring more than entire clubs. Nice even spread of assists as well. Nice even spread of chances created across the club also. Player of the match awards pretty evenly split. Valba, obviously the natural one there with the amount of goals that he's scored throughout the year, but Shirkow getting involved, Tonico, Traore out on loan. Like there's a few different players that have really contributed quite a bit, and that's reflected in the average ratings as well, which are pretty high for our starting 11. Majority of them are over 7.0, which is pretty impressive over the course of a full league year. Tactics largely stayed the same. We have kept in the back draw the 3-4-3 that we were kind of thinking that we might try and do, but at the moment the 4-4-2 is working incredibly well, so I don't really want to change anything. We also get during this off season like a full transfer window to try and bring in some more talent to really complement and add depth to this existing group, which I'm super excited about. There's already, if you kind of look down the bottom of the squad here, a bunch of different young players and kind of wonder kids that we've had out on loan at other teams. Traore, you've seen his name pop up a couple of different times, that have been performing really well. I want to bring them back next season, and I really want to integrate them into the squad. And hopefully that allows us to sell on some players again, raise some additional revenue. Our finances are doing fine, and then if we want to, we can really start going after not just good, promising like wonder kid players. We could get a wonder kid 11 out there if we really needed to. I really want to start going after some of like what I think are the best players in the game at the moment in world football. Some of that will be down to when we get beyond the end of this season, and hopefully like our reputation jumps up being back in the Champions League and being the French champions. And some of it as well is just kind of hoping that some of these players get unsettled at their clubs and want to come across to us as well. So there's quite a bit that I think we want to try and do this off season, which I think is going to be very interesting. The big one though, and the episode that we're going to bring you guys first, we made the Euro Cup final, or the Europa League final, depending on who you want to ask. Had a great run in that competition. We're going to play Bayer Leverkusen. If we look at our record in that competition, we went through the group stages undefeated with Konyaspor from Turkey, Ludogorets and Feyenoord, of course, from Holland. We beat Milan across two legs, 2-1 in both sides of the tie. We beat Sampdoria comfortably, 2-1 at home, and then 6-1 away from home, and then wins against Olympiacos, both home and away. A little bit of a fortunate semi-final draw, I personally think, but we haven't lost the game in this competition yet this season. Famous last words, of course, before we jump into the final against Leverkusen. They are one of the bigger sides still in the competition. They've had a bit of a down year in the Bundesliga itself, but they have got some very, very talented players in their lineup. A couple of wonder kids here and there, a few elite players as well. I'd expect them to provide a challenge for us. Now, as far as the lineup is concerned, we have got a couple of players out that would potentially be starting otherwise. I would love to get this kid, Mohammed. I'm just going to go with Dahoma. I'm going to ignore the M. Or you'd say M Dahoma. I'm not sure what it is. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. I want to train him next season to be like our deep lying playmaker on that left-hand side. He's left-footed. His technical ability is excellent. His free kick taking is improving, which is a key element for us of that role. He's got the perfect person to learn from in Nasser Bahar, who has played at the very top of the game and been in the French national side and all that sort of stuff. But I just want to try and get that left-footed player in there. So we're going to try and get them in a bit of a mentor relationship. Also harsh that Acosta's not starting. He was our wonder kid goalkeeper. He has been excellent this season, to be fair. But we managed to pick up this guy, Kent Bull, for really, really cheap in January. And he's just on another level, personally, I think. The 4 goals he conceded were in that 4-all draw. He hasn't conceded goals in his other 2 appearances. So we're going to try and get him some game time in this final as well, because I want to build towards him being the main player next season. And Acosta may potentially move on because there are some big clubs interested, and if I can get cash, fantastic. Calvet, our wonder kid, was excellent for us really throughout the course of the season, plugging in at both the DLP and the box-to-box position. He's just kind of the 3rd choice at the moment. Still a wonder kid though, still excellent, still came through the academy. We're great to have him around again next season. And then the other 2 are Van Hout's just got a bit of a knock. He's been fantastic for us on that right wing. Has struggled with injuries here and there, but still only 19. I think he will get a handle on it and has contributed quite well with goals and assists this season. We've gotten better production out of him than I possibly could hope for. Zamora is probably the other one that won't start. We'll bring on Ugwu, who joined us on loan from Chelsea, just to give us a little bit more squad depth in that central defensive position. Otherwise, it's pretty close to a full-strength lineup. Oh, the other one as well, Tonico's injured, isn't he? Nearly forgot him. As soon as we have an episode to record, it feels like he gets injured because you guys hear about how excellent he is and then never actually see it. He will unfortunately miss out on this one. Skatellis will play as the pressing forward, otherwise he would start as well. But even with those few players out, most of the team is over 3-star ability in the role that we're asking them to do, and that's really all we're focused on, getting the best players possible for the roles that we need them to do moving forward. So nothing left to do then other than jump in the game by playing a 4-3-3, and interestingly, is that who I think it is? I think they've got Vusi Sitol, who looks a little bit like Shitol. And if you remember that, he played with us back at Mamelodi Sundowns all that time ago when we were sweeping through the African Champions League at the same time. So we are seeing slowly. I'll just try and click on him in a moment. Well, there's a highlight here. Backstick ball wasn't far away there for Leverkusen. Here's Sitol. He's developed into quite the player, to be fair. Actually left Sundowns to go to DC United in the United States, where he played for a bit before making the jump to Bayer Leverkusen. But excellent, excellent player. He was fantastic for us as one of our Mazzalas in that midfield. 27 years of age now. We had him when he was like 18, 19, I think. And we also played him a little bit as the anchor man in midfield, which he was very impressive as well. If we have a look at his info, has he got any other players? Longwa, we actually played against as well when he was at Feyenoord. So it's crazy to think some of these players that we've coached previously at other clubs are now hovering around some of the biggest clubs in the world. We'll come across a couple of our fullbacks in particular as we play some of these big teams in the Champions League, which I think you guys will find super interesting. But, sorry Vusi, I've got to try and beat the living shit out of you here because I don't want to make a final. I'm not suited up because it's not like a proper Champions League final, but I don't want to make a final and then you lose it. I'd love to go into the Champions League next season as Europa League champions. I think that would be fantastic. And French champions, and potentially get ourselves a Super Cup appearance as well. Matral in possession here. Now back to Garoldi. Forward to Shirkow. Now Baha can split a pass if he needs to. Over to Xavier, the box-to-box. Now out to Mongonza. Baha finds Madana on the overlap. Can he get a good ball back in? Xavier comes over to assist. Back to Maidana, not rushing it. Back to Matral. Gone with the shot, which probably wasn't on, to be honest. Now Rodriguez comes flying forward for Leverkusen. Good strike, and Bull does well to just push that one over for the goal kick. I'm going to have to take this off because I can't see the ball. So let's just put these back up here just while the game's going on. Valba, can he counter-attack? He's got pace to burn, and he's got Skatellis in the middle. If he can cut it back for him, he goes the drive himself from the wide angle into the side netting. But flashes of danger from both sides. We're going to throw Demand Moore out there with 15 to go. And Maidana with a flick on header. Valba square ball to Shirkow, and it's going to get ruled back for offside. I assume it was Valba that was offside there, not Shirkow, but at least we know where the back of the net is. One additional minute, which we're through now. And statistically, Leverkusen just on top, you'd think. They haven't had more of the ball, but they have had more XG and more shots. Highlights, probably about even. I'm just going to say I'm pleased with how things are going. Keep it up. I don't want to try and destroy morale or anything. And let's face it, this competition would be a bonus to us. It's not anything that we need to win. They've got to throw in here, though. Ball forward will find Mongonza. He's got Valba over the right-hand side. If he can get across screams to Skelatellis, was in the middle, but he just didn't play the ball in time and is tackled by that Leverkusen defence. Long ball up the line. Doesn't recover possession. Mongonza's just gone through the back of Rodriguez, and he might be about to go down to 10 men here. It's a red card. Interesting. Two-footed lunge. All right, so now we're really going to have to earn our money. We're going to take off Scatellis. I'm going to move Valba just to be an advanced forward on his own. I haven't really got a fully fit right winger, so Van Hout's going to have to try and get in it. He's got sprained knee ligaments. Is it wise to put him out there? Probably not, all things considered. So we're also going to make in another additional change. We're going to bring on Dahuma in the midfield. And Matral's not having the greatest game either. So let's bring on Utara at left back. Let's make our 3 subs now. Why not? While we're still at 0-0, we've got 40 minutes to play with 10 men. Fresh legs will probably do us the world of good, I would think. Santalab with the corner. It's clear to wave now. Valbuck has to pretty much run the length of the field and find a finish. He can do it. It's not a bad effort from him, to be fair. Ran a long way, and then I think just ran out of energy by the time he had to hit the ball. 30 minutes to go. We're throwing a demand more shout out there, and they've immediately got a highlight. Maidana's won it back in a good area, but the clearance is going to find no one. Boom. Reverse pass finds Rodriguez. Good save from the Bull. Now Santalab tries to get it in. Atara, the fresh sub at left back, manages to get it out for the throw in. Be a backs to the wall job if we can scramble a victory here. It would be so very typical, I think, of me and the content on this channel for us to go undefeated in this competition, just win every game, and then lose in the final once we start recording. That would be pretty consistent, actually, I think, with the majority of the content that I brought you guys. All right, 10 minutes remaining. I'm going to throw a demand more shout out there. We've got no more subs up our sleeve. We're down to 10 men, which we've held on to for a while. We've got a deep free kick here as well. Atara to Dahoma, now back to Garoldi. All the way back to the Bull. The press is coming. Good ball finds Xavier. Now out to Van Hout. He's on one leg. Can he get a good ball in? Finds Valba. It's a good drive, to be fair. Alvarenga in the goal for Leverkusen with a good save. Long ball forward. Santalab's gotten goal side far on the right, though. Thankfully, the ball gets his body around it and then just immediately rolls it out to Atara. Now Van Hout on the right-hand side. He's got Maidana there with him. If he can find the right pass, the highlight just comes to an end, really, when I thought the cross was about to come in. And demand more with 3 additional minutes. Is there any late drama before we get to extra time? There isn't. So what we're immediately going to do is just say, I'm pleased with your performance, lads, keep it going. And then tactically, head over heart. Van Hout's not in the greatest shape. We should have now, I think, another sub up our sleeve. I'm going to go for it in midfield. Again, Calvert's got a bit of a knock, but you got to risk it to get the biscuit. We're going to take off Xavier, who I don't think had a bad game. But I just think getting some extra bodies in that centre of the park is going to be super important for us. So 2 subs coming on in that position isn't reflective of the players and how they've gone. It's more just where do we need bodies to try and close down their strengths. I'm going to throw a demand more shout out with 5 minutes remaining in this first half of extra time. And we've stopped them having any real clear-cut chances, which is interesting. If it goes to penalties, it's going to be pretty cruel, I think, on both teams. 10 minutes to go of extra time. I'm going to throw one more demand more shout out there. And we could be looking at 120 minutes here without a single goal. I am definitely trying to do curse of the commentator there. 1 additional minute to be added on. We're going to penalties, it looks like. And I don't have the greatest penalty takers, to be completely honest. So we're just going to go in order of their penalty taking ability. And we go to the lottery of the penalty shootout to find out if we win the Euro Cup. And Bulls saved the first one. If he can do that 3 more times, we're absolutely flying. It's going to be Valba to step up to take ours. Not great at penalties, despite all the goals he scored, but he has put that one away. Debus up against the Bull. What can he do from the penalty spot? He's clipped the inside the post. We might win this without them scoring a penalty. Van Hout's going to take one on one leg again. Again, just smashes it past the keeper. This has gone pretty well so far. So Alalakan will win if he can't make it. Bull doesn't save that one. They do finally get one in the back of the net. But potentially, Shirkow can put one hand on the trophy, and he does. Keeper goes the right way, but it's a good penalty. Back of the net. Hodgson has to score to try and keep Bayer Leverkusen in this one. And the game really died off in terms of highlights after the red card. And the Bull can't get there. He does guess the right way, but doesn't get across to it far enough. And it's going to be Dahoma, I'm just going to go with. So the 17-year-old potential wonder kid, Monaco born and bred, on his left peg. Can he find the finish? It's saved by Alvarenga. Please don't let them come back. I was trying to keep this to be a relatively concise video. We're at 30 minutes already. It's going to be Vusi Sitol to take the final penalty for Leverkusen. He has to score to keep him in it, and he sends the keeper the wrong way, so it's all going to come down here to Calvert, who at the start of the season was really one of the wonder kids that we were trying to build our squad and our tactic around. If he scores this, do I have to start him next season? That's the big question. He sends the keeper the wrong way. I might have to start him next year. The sunglasses are going back on because we're in party mode now. So it's taken penalties, but we've now got a little bonus Europa League title. I'm just going to tell the boys to enjoy those moments. I would have loved to have won it in regular time, to be completely honest, but if we're going to win it, let's do it in as dramatic a fashion as possible. And it does mean we celebrated double this season, a league and Euro Cup double, nearly a treble. We lost in that final of the French Cup, but you never know, maybe next season. Thierry Henry in the press saying that I'm an outstanding manager. Thank you, Thierry. If you'd love to come out of retirement, I'd probably still play you. And the Bull actually gets the Man of the Match award. I'm going to tell him he was fantastic. And to do that with 10 men for 40 minutes is actually pretty impressive. And we join a pretty illustrious list. Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, Bayern, Arsenal, and then Club Bruges back in 2037. That would have been a hell of a run. All right, and then fan awards. This is the part I wanted to look at. Manager awards. Yeah, of course, I'm the only manager at the club. But player awards. Fans player of the season, young player of the season, signing of the season, all go to Valba. Goal of the season goes to Mathieu Calvet. Top goal scorer of Valba, obviously 56 goals, incredible. Most assists go to Shirky. I think I've said his name different every time. We're just going to go with Shirky moving forward. 17 assists for him. Valba with 16 player of the match awards. Highest average rating Valba as well, 7.6. And most passes completed per 90 minutes. 48 passes for Nassar Baha, our 35-year-old anchoring midfield. Maybe I don't even need to replace him, to be honest. But a whole bunch of different records broken across the league in the division. Some of that is because the French league hasn't been loaded in. I feel like the PSG side with Mbappe, Neymar, they would have probably scored more goals. But because it wasn't loaded from the start, it doesn't quite kind of work out that way. A few of the players there get inducted into the overall best 11, which is fantastic. Vision and expectations for next season are all pretty straightforward. They just expect us to really qualify for the Champions League. That's really all that they're concerned about, so we'll just accept that vision, that's fine. Individual awards, Valba gets the Euro Cup Player of the Season. We're going to give him a little bit of love for that one. He's won a shitload of awards, actually. We should look at that again. He gets a Euro Cup Golden Boot winner as well, and there's a 3-4-3 in the Euro Cup squad at the season, which we're not far away from. We had most of that team in there. Sittol made it as well, and then this guy, Fleischner? Don't know how you'd say that. German centre-back at Leverkusen has also made it. He's not bad, not great though. And then up front, what's this guy like? Manuel Baum. He looks pretty decent. If his finishing was better, I'd be tempted to go in for him. But it's all about Valba this season. Let's check out his milestones. Can we say what awards he's won? So just this season, he won the 2043 European Golden Boy. He won the 2043 Under-21 Footballer of the Year. That's a tricky one to say. He was the 2043-44 Next Gen Player, which I think is an award for players under the age of 20 anywhere in the world. Very impressive stuff there, though. He's the League One Golden Boot. He's the Euro Cup Golden Boot. He's the Euro Cup Player of the Season and is in the Euro Cup squad of the season. Is he the French League Player of the Year? I don't think we've seen that one yet. Yeah, I don't think it's been voted on just yet, so we might jump forward just a little bit just to see if that final award comes through. Okay, here we go. Here are the League One awards. So Metral, Shirky, Van Hout, Maidana, and Valba all make the team of the season. Valba does win the Best Player award. Congratulations to him. He gets the top goal scorer as well. Alex from Marseille wins the goalkeeper of the season, which I guess is probably because I kept splitting between two different goalkeepers. But Valba, absolutely incredible season for him. We would want to hope that he can replicate that next season because he may be the first Ballon d'Or winner caliber player that we've actually got if he continues developing at that level. But what we're going to do is we're going to jump forward now through the off-season, through pre-season, really to the start of next season when hopefully we'll either have a Super Cup tie in Europe or potentially a French Super Cup, if that does exist as an actual thing. And I'll try and bring you that game in today's episode as well and introduce you to some new signings as well. So magic of editing, I'm going to jump forward to that now. All right, and just like that, we are a few months ahead. For you guys, only a second. For me, an hour or two, but still not that bad. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So we've gone through the full off-season. We've gone through all of our pre-season program as well. We've brought in some new faces. I guess that's probably the best place to start. Actually, let's go with the transfers first. Outs, there are quite a few and potentially a couple more happening in the next few days before the window shuts. £72 million raise. We've spent 245. I've gone a little bit overboard with it, but when you kind of have a look at the players, you guys will understand why, because it's effectively a family reunion, so to speak. We've brought in a whole bunch of players that we've played with, managed before, and to do that for some of them, we had to pay quite a bit of money. So out, Calvet has gone to Barcelona. They came in for him. His head was immediately turned. We let him go. 20 years of age. He was only 4-star ability, even though he's a wonder kid. I think we've got better prospects coming through in that position. One of those to come in a moment. Mohamed Yousfi, we got great money for a backup left back that didn't play all that much. He goes for £18 million to Valencia. Lars Skatelis goes to Wolfsburg for 17.5. I just couldn't fit him into the amount of forward forward options that we've got at the moment. Ludovic Ogrand, a backup player last season, £10 million for him. Rosati, who was out on loan at Sevilla, he comes back in. He goes to them permanently, for 5.25. Again, squad registration rules, you can only have 4 non-EU players in a French squad, so we couldn't register him anyway. Alkabi, after 12 months with us, moves on. We did take a loss on that one, but that's fine. A few other young players that weren't ever really going to make the grade in our first team lineup have gone out as well. And then a whole bunch that are out on loans, but with different fees associated with that to hopefully get us some cash back in. Then if we jump over this side, we'll start with the cheap ones first. So Mohamed El Amin Zidane has joined, 34-year-old French international on a free transfer. Can play as a DLP, can play as a backup box-to-box. We've really just brought him in to kind of like help develop our squad and get them to an elite level. We've got 2 starting central midfielders that are quite young, and then the backups behind them are going to be Baha, who was excellent for us last year, who's now 35, and now this guy, El Amin Zidane. We'll just go with Zidane for short. Not a bad French footballing name. He will be a backup as well, and really they're just going to act as mentors. I wouldn't expect him to start many games, but he is an incredible talent. He has won a shitload throughout the course of his career, including European Champions Leagues as well, with both PSG, and a runner-up with Liverpool as well. Did they actually win it? No, they didn't, but they have won Premier Divisions, they have won Community Shield, so he's a winner. He knows how to do that, and I think he's going to be an important mentor in the squad this season. Next one, Branislav Sadar. I won't show you him. He's out on loan this season. We just brought him in because he was cheap, basically. I think he's got good resale value. Matthias Zambelli, who's joined, he'll be like a kind of third choice defender. Can play on the right, can play at centre-back. He comes across from Inter Milan for only £8 million. Relatively cheap deal, and he's got some very good traits there. The first of the family reunion, Alberto Caro, was at Flamengo, played with us at River Plate. We played against him as well when he was at Pumas and we were at Club America. Was excellent for us as the inverted wingback in the old 3-3-3-1 system that we were using. We're going to use him as a more traditional left wingback on this tactic and with this team, and he comes in for relatively decent money, £17 million for Flamengo. I think that triggered his release clause potentially, but very excited to have him back again. He would be a player that we will have won 2 continental titles with if we can get this Champions League triumph as well. Another familiar name for those of you that have been watching recently, Jesus Moya joins us as well from Inter Milan. Of course, led the line for us at River when we won the Copa Libertadores. Has gone from strength to strength really in Italy as well. Only 3-star current ability, but can get as high as 4.5-star if he finds form and fitness. He is 23 now, so I wouldn't expect him to become like a world-class player or the best in the world or anything like that. But playing regularly for Colombia, he will fill in as like our third choice striker. He'll come off the bench in most games, and if either Tonico or Valba are injured and can't start, he'll be the first name on the team sheet. Morris, I'll come back to in a second. Thakazani Malazzi. Now, this one you've got to kind of go back a fair few episodes to actually remember. He was our right back when we were at Mamelodi Sundowns. We kept him while we were there. We paid a fair bit of cash for him at the time. I think a South African record to bring him back from Shenyang Urban in China. He played with us for 2 seasons. We won the African Champions League. We moved on. He stayed on with the club for a few years, made a jump over to Brazil, made a big money move to Chelsea where he spent a single season, 20 games played, 7.16 average rating, and then we have kind of broken the bank to go and get him and bring him across. Second last one, George Magia, who also played with us at River Plate, has been at Tottenham for a few seasons. He was one of the first players to jump once we left River Plate and did really well at Tottenham as well, really developed into like an elite level central defender. Probably the best player in our squad at the moment, 4.5-star current and potential ability, good on both feet, can play as a ball-playing defender. We used him as a libero, of course. So good to know that we've got that up our sleeve if we need it down the track, but he's going to be fantastic for us. We did pay the most of him, £80 million, which I think is a club record again. But for a 22-year-old whose best football's still ahead of him, who's still growing, developing, fantastic to have him on board for a couple of seasons. And then the last one I'll double back on, Adam Morris. We paid £45 million for him. He's a 32-year-old third-choice right-back. Why have I brought him in, you might be asking? Because we managed him at Guangzhou Evergrande. We bought him across on loan initially from Man United, then he signed permanently, $22.5 million. He was in the side that final year there, so only 1 year overlap, where he actually won the Asian Champions League with us. They didn't win one since, but he has been a league champion and a few other things within that period. There weren't many players at Guangzhou that have actually continued their careers and are still going. So he was kind of the one that I thought potentially we could bring in and have him be like a part of the squad that we won the league with effectively. I did bring him across thinking he's Scottish and that we wouldn't have any issues registering him. We have had issues registering him, unfortunately. So he's not registered for the league season, which is why you can see he's got a slight concern here. But at 2.5-star ability, he's the third choice right back. He'll be behind Malazzi. He'll be behind as well one of our youngsters coming through here in Malek Belhaj, who's a wonder kid out on loan last season. But I just think it's fantastic that in our squad, we have players from all four of our Champions League wins to date. We've got Morris, who was involved in Asia. We've got Malati, who was involved in Africa. We've got Tonico from the North American Champions League. We've got Tonico again, Alberto Caro, George Magia, and Jesus Moya from our last Champions League victory in South America in the Copa Libertadores. And if we can get some of those players a Champions League title, I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Everyone's locked in on long-term deals. I'm pretty happy with the squad, to be honest. I think we've improved in the right areas, but still have a good balance of wonder-kid talent that's hopefully going to go to that next level and become elite on their own, which takes us to pre-season, which has been absolutely fantastic. We've been rolling teams. The assistant's been taking care of most of these games. We had a draw with Man United, but we've beaten Liverpool, Man City, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Chelsea, Juventus, PSG in the Trophy de Champions in France, getting another title for the trophy cabinet. And then last time out, we did have a very good 4-0 victory against Metz, which puts us currently top of League One with one game played. PSG also won their game 4-0, probably more impressively against Lille, but I expect to go tit for tat with them throughout the course of the season. If we look at the season preview, they are still favourites, but we are catching them up. We're down to $8 as our odds for the year. We've also got Caro, Magia, and Bull in the Media Dream 11, so that is fantastic progress. A couple other names popping up as well at Lyon and Marseille as well. So the gap between everybody else and PSG is closing relatively quickly, even though they are still favourites for the league this season. The game we're going to bring you guys, though, is the European Super Cup. Of course, between the Champions League and Europa League winners, current reigning defending champions of the Champions League last season are Atletico Madrid. You'd be fascinated to know that they are now the most reputable club in the world. And they have been for a couple of seasons, so they've had a really good run of it over kind of like the last 10-year period. They've won the Champions League in 2029, 2037, 2040, and 2044. They've had First Division titles, won in 2034, 35, 36, and now 2044 as well. So they've really jumped up quite a few rungs on the totem pole as far as Spain is concerned and global football. So it's going to be fascinating to see how we match up against them. We did play them in the off-season, and we did get a victory, and that was with still having a few players away on international duty. So I'm fascinated to see how the two sides play off against each other in this game as well. We're just going to tell the team that there's no pressure on anyone, and I'm just going to tell everyone I've got faith in them, which seems to have done the job. We've got pretty much our full strength 11 available, so if it doesn't go that well, we'll really maybe have to go back to the drawing board, or alternatively, we just kind of tip our hat to them and then come back and try and beat them again in the Champions League this season. They are playing a 4-2-3-1, which traditionally we do pretty well against. They are managed by Gennaro Gattuso as well, I've just spotted there. Didn't expect that one. First highlight though, throw in on the right-hand side. I've got to take the glasses off because I can't see the ball. Ball over the top here, finds Canobio goal side, and Bull with a good save. Machado here from the corner, tries to get a ball across. It's just headed over the crossbar. And they're a dangerous team, and we're going to have to be on our toes to kind of stick with them. Deep free kick here again. Machado to take, goes short, reverse pass there, finds Still. I think he was offside, and it is brought back for the infringement. But opening 10 minutes, been all Atletico so far. We'll see if we can get ourselves back into the game. And I'll hold off just for the minute before I do any shouts or anything like that. Wide free kick again, which is where all their highlights are coming from so far. And that back post header wasn't too bad. I'm going to throw a demand more shout out here because they've got a throw in highlight starting again. Crossfield switch. Now to Halil Kaya. Malati's there with him, but the clearance is poor. Now over to Ramirez. Reverse pass here, finds Canobio. It's a good save there, and again from Bull. It's been all Atletico Madrid so far. Mercado goes near post. Good header away there from Dahoma. They're definitely favouring, I think, our right back position. Their left-hand side seems to be where most of their attacks are coming from. Valber's let the ball run over the top and got on goal side, and he get us our first real strike and our first real highlight. Good save from Zivkovic. Shirky. Back to Sick. Oh, Van Hout brings it down. Can he get a ball back across? Xavier out to Shirky again. Find the cutback, please. Tries to get a ball in. Shirky, it should be mentioned, has also signed a new contract with us, which is fantastic. He wanted to leave all of last season. And arguably our best player kind of hangs around for a fair bit of money. I'm not going to lie, he's on a big contract. But can he be the person to kind of drag us back into this game a little bit? Still 0-0, but we just want to see a little bit more in terms of chances created and highlights. 1 additional minute to be added on. We're through that now, so 0-0 at half-time. Monaco, 5 shots, 4 on target, 0.51 XG and 58% of the ball. Atletico, 8 shots, 3 on target, 0.9 XG and 42% possession, but they have had more of the highlights as we've seen. I'm just going to say I'm pleased with how things are going. Keep it up. Everyone seems inspired and motivated. And we'll do what we always do, which is give it to about the hour mark before we have a look at some subs and changes. Fitness so far in the off-season has been pretty good, so we might even have a look at a little bit of form. Ball forward here finds Van Hout. Cuts inside. Good overlapping run here from Malazzi. Can he wrap his foot around the ball? Xavier plays the 1-2 with him again. Xavier with a chance to get it back in. Ball towards Mahoma at the back stick. It is cleared away by the Atletico defence. Malazzi now throw in on the right-hand side. We're coming back into it a little bit here in the second half. Valba tries to force a ball that wasn't quite there. The clearance, thankfully, straight to Giroldi down the right. Caro now on the overlapping run. Can he get a ball back across? It's towards near post. Tonico's gotten it in. We're going to check out what happens here in 3 minutes. In 3 dimensions is what I was trying to say. It's late. You guys, it's been a long session. You guys get it. Caro, with the overlapping run here, just hangs it towards backstick. The keeper spills it, and Tonico really just gets to knock it back in. There was nobody around the keeper then. He had no excuse. And Tonico, after getting a hat-trick on the opening match day of the league season, now has another goal in Euro competition as well. Magia, here to Xavier. Reverse pass to Tonico, just gets cut out. Now, out to Halil Kaya. Van Hout's on a yellow card. We're going to have to be mindful of that as well. And they're playing a nice little return pass. Just as I've said that, Xavier's won the ball back. Ball over the top towards Tonico's a little bit overhit. Zivkovic will pick it back up. Short ball out. Mercado at the base midfield. Good searching ball out to the right-hand side. Solanes now getting forward. Caro there with him, but it's a good ball back in and a good header back across goal. If that had been on target, I think we'd have been in trouble. We're going to hit pause because we're through the hour mark. And what are we going to do? We're going to go head over heart, as we so often do. We're just going to go subs based on current fitness because fresh legs are what's going to carry us through. So we're going to bring off our 2 wingers, Shirky and Van Hout. We're going to bring off Dahoma in midfield as well. Baha will come on and anchor midfield, an experienced head. Pit Bonvini, one of our youngsters out on loan last season, will play on the left-hand side. And Malazzi, our right back, will move to the right mid position. And Belhaj will come on as the right back just because our backup right midfielder at the moment has a bit of a knock and he's out of the squad. I'm going to throw a Demand Morshed out there as well just to hopefully give everyone a little bit of focus through to the full-time whistle. But there's a few bodies out there that haven't had the greatest games in terms of match ratings. Malazzi's 1, Valba up top is 1. But I suppose after his efforts last season, can't really complain. I'm going to throw a Demand Morshed out, 10 minutes remaining. And statistically speaking, Atletico have had way more shots and XG. And they've got to throw in here, left-hand side. Late highlights are the bane of my existence at the moment. Malazzi, Valauba, towards back stick. Solanes has gotten there. So they've gotten their equalising goal, 88th minute. And referee or linesman moved pretty immediately. So I think this is one I'm going to go through. It's a good ball in here from Valauba. Just swings it into a difficult area to defend. And in reality, they had 2 players there goal side. Caro maybe just ran out of legs a little bit in this one. We'll see if we go to extra time, if it potentially gives us a chance to make some additional subs. Though there is a highlight here, 90th minute. Xavier in possession, now Malazzi. What can he do coming forward? Reverse pass to Valba. It's a poor switch air play. Now long ball over the top. Returda has gotten goal side and he's found the finish. Is he offside there? I thought potentially he was offside. But again, the linesman's not moved. We'll check it out here. It's just a straight long ball over the top. I think he's just goal side and it might be Caro keeping him on again. Returda with the finish. And to be fair, it's a good drive. Ball came out to try and get down to it. And they might have turned the game on its head here in the last couple of minutes. And we're through injury time. They've absolutely... That's proper like Manchester United European Champions League final kind of stuff there. An 88th minute goal and a 91st minute winner from Atletico Madrid. I didn't think we got anything super wrong, but to be fair, they had better XG, better shots, and they definitely caught up in terms of possession as well. I'm just going to say congratulations to you all on being part of the final, and everyone seems happy. Okay, I don't really care about that competition so much. I just want to win the Champions League to close out the Pentagon, but it goes to show that the best teams in this competition, 1, we can compete with them, but then 2, they've got that individual quality that they can torch you pretty quickly. Now, looking forward as to what we're going to do in the next episode, we're either going to jump forward and do the end of the Champions League group stage, depending on who we get in our group and depending on how we travel. But if we smash that group and get through it really quickly, we might come back and do the knockout stages, and I'll bring you each round of the knockout stages because the Champions League, that's going to be our focus for the remainder of this series. And I want to try and get through at least this season, maybe another season before FM22 comes out, hopefully around the 25th, 26th of October. That's what we're kind of hoping for at the moment. All right, big long episode. We took you guys... Hang on, wait, before we get into it. There we go. That's much better now. I feel like I'm in Monaco. Big long episode. We've covered a whole bunch of stuff. If you want to help celebrate both our league title and breaking PSG's streak, please drop a like on this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already to be kept up to date on future episodes and future content across the channel. But more than anything, as always, guys, I just appreciate you all watching along with me. That's the part that is the most important to me. As always, though, I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.